Hi there, my name is Kathleen Hobbs. I'm a student at A-State University, and this is me going for my video 2 for my secondary assessment module. This is explaining the assessment that I created and how it went. So the area I chose to create an assessment for is nonverbal communication skills. Reviewing all the data from numerous assessments and current levels of function from the observations point to the fact that Eli's greatest area of weakness is communication ability. This checklist can be performed by any individual using the materials in an everyday classroom and by observing behaviors. This checklist not only can provide Eli's strengths, but also his weaknesses in this area, which can show us where we need to focus for his instruction to be better and to help him learn and grow as an individual. So a little bit about this. So the assessment itself is a checklist, and it goes through lots of different objectives that I'll read through in a second. And for him, it's all about figuring out yes or no, and he gets a yes by scoring 80% of the time. Now for Eli, attention span is also a big issue, and so for me, I decided to do this over about 3 days at different points in the day, only really hitting him 2 to 3 objectives at a time in order to make sure that I'm getting accurate information. And if I saw a certain objective multiple times, I took that into account. At the end of the assessment, what you do is you take the number of yeses and divide them by the number of no, then multiply it by 100. That gives you your percentage of how well he does on those objectives. Again, just so you know, Eli is very distractible. Like, he loves to get up and move, and so a lot of this we had to take breaks. I worked on a couple of objectives at a time for him, just so I could really get a correct reading on this. Okay, so going to the assessment itself, the checklist. I'm sorry, I'm pulling it up real quick. For Eli, I'll just go through it. And the other thing I added to this checklist is if you did mark no on anything, the observer would need to mark why to give us a reason why, so hopefully we can work on those skills. So the first objective says understands and uses appropriate body space for 5 to 10 minutes. We marked no. Eli tends to be very clumsy. While he doesn't touch people physically and initiate contact, he very much gets into their space and doesn't understand spacing. Eli got a yes for uses facial features in various situations. Also a yes for nods head, yes or no. We got a no for independently aware of one's and others' routines. Eli needs additional prompting and supportive direction in order to stay with his routine, and he very much is unaware of others' typical routine going on around him. He got a yes for turns head towards noise and situations. If there's something going on, he is aware of that. He got no's for is able to participate in turn taking non-verbally with motor movement independently. He's only as tuned into his needs and wants, not others in the group. He got a no for remain silent and presents active listening for 1 to 3 minutes while a speaker is talking. He does not ever present active listening strategies. That really is an area we have to work on. Sits appropriately, Eli does not do that. Often he jumps out of his seat to do preferred activities or to go run and get an iPad, or just slouching in his seat and trying to get comfortable with his physical ailments. That is an issue, and so we try and give him a lot of flexible seating options. We marked a yes for uses gestures to show location or want of an object. Yes for demonstrates protest nonverbally with facial gestures or hand gestures. He got a no for body is pointed toward the speaker during conversation. He typically turns away, trying to show that he's not engaged. He can be a little stubborn. He got a yes for eyes are able to track an object that is moving. He got a no for trying to comfort a peer or an adult with nonverbal gestures or facial features. Again, that's him just not being aware of others around him. He's very kind of self-involved. He got yeses for is able to point to a picture or object when asked. Yes for uses a sign or hand signal to communicate. We're on about 7 to 8 of those hand signals, and we're really trying to build that up this year. Yes for states or demonstrates social greetings verbally or non-verbally consistently. Hi, bye, or see you later. He got no for has appropriate volume with phonation. He has no volume control when sounds are attempted. He got a no for ask for help or assistance when needed using a gesture. He prefers not to be helped and kind of shows disrespectful actions towards adults. He got a yes for has reflexive or intentional vocalizations such as crying, laughter, burping, sneezing, or coughing. No for is able to match two objects that are the same or real objects, not in pictures. We use groups of balls, cubes, and pencils. I try to mix up the objects, and Eli refused to complete the activity. He got a yes for is able to match two objects that are the same through pictures. No for is able to pull picture representing requests for assistance. And also no is able to pull two pictures together to make a communicative intent. He did not want to pull. He was very against that. He did get a yes for can imitate motor movement of another. He got no's for can imitate a speech attempt of another or is able to state apologies when appropriate gesture, facial feature. He got yeses for shows an interest in sign language. Yes for can make a single sound in isolation. Yes can make a random approximation of a sound or word. Yes can make a grunt or non-recognizable sound. No for can make cooing sounds with a focus on elongated vowels. His sounds are not specific. Yes for can make variegated babbling, a variety of consonants and vowels in a non-recognizable pattern. And no for is able to sing or hum with sound. No melodic quality is there. According to this assessment, Eli is meeting a little over half of the nonverbal milestones for students. This data was collected after observations about 3 days, only pairing 2 to 3 objectives at a time in order to keep Eli's attention as apt to the given task as possible. The results let us know that while Eli is capable of many things, his weaknesses are surrounding his abilities to acknowledge others and their actions or feelings, his willingness to interact with a group rather than just independent one-on-one instruction, and his ability to control the sounds he's initiating. So the instructional goals need to be focused around these areas. My personal suggestions would be to, number 1, force feed the small group setting with specific group members trying to initiate interactions with Eli. This will encourage more interactions with peers and hopefully help Eli to gain understanding that there is more going on around him and less focused on his own agenda. Number 2, to bring in social and emotional stories into his reading block in order to have these stories aim at understanding emotions and reasons people feel a certain way. The last one is 3, push speech training. There are so many apps now on the iPad that we could use to help Eli hear the sounds. We could put he has really great headphones that we can really get that volume up so he can hear it. And he can also see how you're supposed to be shaping your mouth to make certain sounds, and give him as much visual support as possible to try and make up for his hearing deficiency in this area. Let's see here. The changes I would possibly make is I do think that you can always do more than yes and no. For me, this is what was easiest, knowing Eli. So you could have done a rank 1 through 5 to get more specific. The other thing that I saw for him, another area we could have hit was behavior. For some reason, this has not been pushed in a lot of his past classrooms. And so I want to motivate him to hit those higher standards that I have. Let's see here. So again, with the scoring, the more detailed scoring, the more accurate result you will receive. I do feel like the assessment module was a really positive thing for us. I think it helped me get to know my students a lot better and to be able to get to know his history. A lot of times when you get new kiddos, you don't get a chance to look back at their records to see what is taking place in order to get them to your classroom. So this was great exercise for me. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I hope this helps some people. Thank you so much.